Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Sports Arena. As you know, I'm your man, Eric Wilson. Before I get to the show tonight, I wanted to address something with everyone. So last week, we had experienced, I guess, our first hater, our first internet troll, whatever you want to call it. And anybody who knows me knows I'm about speaking our minds. I'm about having open and honest conversation. But what I am not about is negativity being thrown on the sports arena or anybody who is a part of this show. So, that being said, I need to make it very clear to all the internet trolls out there and to all the haters out there, if you cannot come on this show and speak with an open, educated mind, or at least bring some fun and laughter, don't bother showing up. That being said, I'm going to let the crew do their thing. Ladies and gentlemen, Sports Arena.
What's up, everybody? Thank you so much, Eric Wilson, for that awesome intro, because we do care about everybody's feelings on this show. It's a happy Kobe Bryant Day. It's a bittersweet feeling to be celebrating the man's life, and today will be officially Kobe Bryant Day since it's 8/24, which matches his jersey numbers. Yesterday, he would have been 42 years old, and everybody has just been kind of feeling the emotions of the loss, and everybody's still kind of mourning over the situation. So we will be talking about the legend himself. We're also going to be getting to the NBA playoffs and all the drama that has been going on and with the teams that have been swept so far in the playoffs. And then we're going to be bringing up the NFL and the Roger Goodell situation as he was addressing Colin Kaepernick and the national anthem. First on the board, we got a treat. We have Jake Rongholt with Turning Point Podcast. How you doing, Jake?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well right now. I apologize for being in the dark, but unfortunately my light burned out about 3 minutes before we went on. So
oh no, it's all right. You still look great.
Yeah, fire time, guys.
It's that time. Next, we have Alex Fleming with Turf Talk on Saturday mornings. How you doing, Alex?
I'm fine. I apologize for being in the light. I look like an Oreo with all this light mixture in it, so I'm good.
You guys look great. Trust me, nobody's going to see you guys anyways. Just kidding. Let's start off with the great Kobe Bryant. Jake Ronghall, I want to know, what are you feeling today?
I'm feeling really great because of what I've been seeing out of the city of Los Angeles, what I've been seeing out of Nike, what I saw the Lakers, of what truly the Black Mamba meant to the city of Los Angeles. They started off with the LA City Council approving Kobe Bryant Boulevard, which will be on the street between that and Martin Luther King Boulevard, right by Staples Center. It was his home for years and years and years. And that was something that I was very happy to see. But I think that the best thing I saw had to be Nike. Nike pulled it out of the park. They're having a Mamba week. First off, they started off with a commercial that was narrated by rapper Kendrick Lamar. And he said, and they used the word better in so many different themes and ways that it was like motivation, where you come to a point when this is just a piece of it. Better leader, better generation, better nation, just be better. And that's exactly what Kobe Bryant was. We're talking about a man who won an Academy Award for a 5-minute short film called Dear Basketball. We're talking about a guy who had a way with design for the Lakers jerseys that they're wearing tonight against the Trailblazers. They're wearing these black and gold jerseys that Kobe had a way of saying into it. And it's just crazy to me. Shaq. I think Shaq had the best one. He was on the Rich Eisen show today, and he talked about how he had a painting of Kobe and Shaq as old men. And he always says to himself that he wishes there were things that he could have said to Kobe that could have really have helped. And he said it even during the eulogy at Kobe's funeral back in February. So there is a lot to unpack here with this, but I really like what I've seen out of the city of Los Angeles.
Absolutely. Kobe Bryant has had such a grand impact on the world, not only just the sports world, but after retirement, he was affecting a lot more than just the basketball court. Alex Fleming, I want to know your take. How are you feeling about today?
I'm feeling sadness. I don't feel happy at all. I remember the Pro Bowl. I was doing double duty. I was at the Pro Bowl and it was like Christmas. Everybody was happy. The players were happy. Everybody was celebrating. And then Darius Slay got the Twitter and it spread like a disease. And then all of a sudden, a black cloud or a white cloud, take it however you want to, was all over the Pro Bowl. And then when I left the Pro Bowl, I went and saw the Clippers just demolishing the Magic. Doc Rivers didn't want to talk to nobody. He told everybody, respect us, please. There's not going to be any after game locker interviews. It was like a funeral. And I remember that day profoundly because it was late January. It was supposed to be one of the best days in sports, and it ended up just being sad all around. Kobe had a lot of life left. Regardless of what haters and bigots said about Kobe, he was a good man. He didn't rape anybody, if that's the first thing they're going to jump to. And he was involved in multiple charities. I mean, it's just, he was influential in women's basketball, the WNBA, a beautiful father to all of his daughters, and he was a voice in the community. He believed in equality for all, not just black, not white, not Hispanic, not male, not female, for all. And he shut up a lot of Fox News interpreters with that whole shut up and dribble. Well, watch me win an Academy Award. That's the power of sports. That's the power of an athlete who's more than just a basketball player. So for me, I mean, I love the reflection, but it's a sad day.
No, absolutely. We're there with you. Diana Taurasi with the WNBA was back for the Phoenix Mercury yesterday and scored 34 points on Kobe's birthday. And after the game, she had a short interview about how she felt about the situation, how she played that game for Kobe. Kobe has impacted so much more than NBA. He gave 20 years to the NBA, but also gave a lot of his time to the WNBA. And we were hoping to be able to see Gigi be one of the best WNBA players in the world. So very sad day, but we're going to be moving on, gentlemen. We'll leave it on to there. Let's talk some playoffs. Did you guys watch the Magic game? I'm a little disappointed because the Magic were hanging in there. And despite having 6 turnovers in the first 7 minutes of the game, they were still only down by 1. They went into the half only 58-52 against Giannis and the Bucks. Jake, I want to know what happened in the fourth quarter to allow the Bucks to go on that 18-2 run.
It started in the third quarter with about 6 seconds left to go. It was Giannis Antetokounmpo hit that 3-point shot, put the Bucks in the lead, and then they didn't look back. And you got to give a lot of credit to the way that Mike Budenholzer really had this team playing in the fourth quarter. They had Wesley Matthews hit a couple of threes. He was 4 for 6 from the 3-point line. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we have found Chris Middleton. I have said this multiple times. Chris Middleton is the number 2 player to Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he needed to step up. And he did. 4 for 7 from the 3-point line, 21 points to put in this. With the Magic, once again, Vucevic can't do it himself. He was amazing again. 31 points, 6 for 10 from the 3-point line, 11 for 20 shooting. But then you look at Markelle Fultz, he did his job. Clark did his job. But then I look over and I see the bench again. And outside of Terrence Ross, they only had 10 points. And then Evan Fournier, thanks for playing 3 quarters, but not showing up in the fourth. 1 for 3 from the 3-point line. That's all you could give. You were only down by 12 points. What happened here? And it just goes to show that, unfortunately, the Bucks are going to be moving on. The Magic have got to do some spring cleaning with some of their players. They got a good nucleus around here. Don't get rid of Aaron Gordon. Get rid of the ones who are not playing up to their potential that Nikolai Vucevic was today.
Alex, I got to know your take. What is your Magic perspective?
I'm so sick and tired of focusing on rebounds. Magic were out-rebounded. Only by 6, though. They showed some fight. They were out-assisted by 3. At least they showed some fight. Chris Middleton woke up in the fourth quarter. Allowing that man to hit threes wide open and only 1 contested only brings a burden to bear. Are we afraid of Giannis Antetokounmpo? I mean, really, are we afraid of him? Because he was driving the lane, getting his shot.
They were getting out of the way.
Whatever he wanted. Now, superstars get superstar calls. I get that. But if you're not going to at least guard the man, put somebody in on the bench who's going to. Oh, and Jake alluded to it earlier. Evan Fournier, isn't this great? 4 for 14, 3 of 9 shooting, 12 points. Thank you for at least being in double digits. I mean, like, bro, Terrence Ross was the bench. Once again, if it wasn't for Terrence Ross, we wouldn't have any bench production. DJ Augustine only had 6. And Cam Burke, who isn't an offensive player, had 5. Other than that, you don't have any bench points. There's 30 points off the bench, and Terrence Ross gave you 19. Vucevic is a one-man army. He's doing his thing. He shot better from three-point line than anybody else, and he's the center. Once again, it's a rerun from last year. Toronto did it last year. Now Milwaukee did it this year. And the worst thing that could happen, everybody in Milwaukee got involved. It wasn't just 1, it wasn't 2, it wasn't 3, it was 4. It was 5 players in double figures. And to make matters worse, everybody that played got a bucket.
Mm-hmm.
We're going home. We're already in Orlando. Yeah. They don't have to pick their bags. They can just take a trip down Lake Buena Vista.
No, you're right, because Pat Connaughton really stepped up. He had some points. Dante DiVincenzo, he was there. George Hill was also producing. Brooke Lopez was producing. Everybody for the Milwaukee Bucks in the fourth quarter was producing. But like I said, it is a one-man machine. You're absolutely right. You don't have Aaron Gordon. You don't have Jonathan Isaac, and it goes to show. Steve Clifford is doing everything he could possibly do to get his every ounce of talent out of everybody, and the only one he's getting out of is Nikolai Vucevic, Markelle Fultz, and Terrence Ross. That's a problem. If the Magic want to be at least a 6 or 7 seed next year, they have got to be strong in the free agency.
No, absolutely. I could not agree with you more, Jake. The Magic have to do some cleaning, and I don't believe getting rid of Aaron Gordon will be the answer. So we'll leave it there with the Orlando Magic. Let's move on to the first sweep of the East. The Brooklyn Nets have been swept by the Toronto Raptors, losing last night. I believe the score was 150 to 122. Alex, I'm going to bring it to you first. Does this surprise you?
First and foremost, that wasn't the first sweep. The first sweep was the Philadelphia 76.
There you go.
Talk about that. I got some smoke for that.
We're going to talk about that.
But since you mentioned the Nets, let's keep something in mind. Toronto's defending champions, number 1. Number 2, the Nets didn't have Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Spencer Dinwiddie, DeAndre Jordan, or Joe Harris. So let's not pretend that you got the best effort from the Nets squad. Number 3, Nets got money. They're going to be ready next year to actually make that contention for the Eastern Conference Finals. 4, they made their business known. Hey, we just got swept. We want Pop. Because I think Pop's the only personality that could control all of these cards in this deck. And there's a lot of spades. Kyrie Irving, a little bit crazy. Kevin Durant, a bit of a prima donna. DeAndre Jordan, can you hit your free throws? Oh, Joe Harris, stay healthy. And you got talent with Karis LeVert and Cabaret. I mean, this squad is thick. Let's be completely honest. The Nets are going to be a problem next year. But as for this year, you got rid of Atkinson, who taught you how to fight and play hard. Jacques Vaughn did what he did, but, I mean, he was out-coached. You know, there's a reason why Dr. Octopus is the coach of the year. Real talk. He's a damn good coach. And Spicy P, Van Fleet, and them boys, they're getting ready for Boston. They weren't even looking at the Nets. It's like, you know what? You're a speed bump. We need to get rid of you to get ready for Boston.
No, absolutely. I got to know, Jake. Should the Raptors be worried with Kyle Lowry suffering a left ankle sprain going into the series with the Boston Celtics after sweeping the 76ers?
If you're going to be the coach of the year, you better show it, because with Kyle Lowry being sidelined, now you have to step up Fred VanVleet. And then look at Serge Ibaka. Serge Ibaka comes off the bench, 27 points in that victory over the Nets. And that is what is going to have to happen. Nobody can be greedy with the basketball. It could be one night, it could be Powell's night. One night, it could be VanVleet's night. One night, it could be Ibaka's night. It could be Anunoby's night. And that is the best thing about the Raptors. They are unselfish with the basketball. They're a great team, and they're going to be a wonderful story to watch, because I can't wait to see the Raptors and the Celtics battle it out. Those are two very good basketball teams, because look at this Look at this lineup for the Celtics. They were incredible in Game 4. They were, at best, down by, 6 points in Game 4, the most? I mean, Jason Tatum, 28 points. Daniel Theus, 15. Kemba Walker, 32. Jaylen Brown, 16 points. Are you kidding me? So we're about to see two of the best coaches battle it out. This is why Brad Stevens gets a big-time multi-year extension to stay with the Celtics, because he is a terrific coach, just like Nick Nurse. It could be the Celtics or the Raptors that could be the pain in the neck for the Milwaukee Bucks, even if they get there, because not to mention my Miami Heat. I said this was a dark horse. I'm sticking with the Miami Heat, because when you got guys like Goran Dragic, who goes for 24, 20, 24, and 23 points and hits 48% average shooting in a 4-game sweep, that's incredible. Not to mention, Jimmy Butler only had 6 points in this game, and they were still able to win this one outright. The Miami Heat are the scariest dark horse out there right now in the NBA playoffs, and whoever has to play them next, it's not going to be easy. It could be a 7-game series.
No, absolutely. I see that coming in our future. Alex, I got to know, with Kyle Lowry averaging 19 points, 7 assists, 5 boards, and 1 steal per game, should the Raptors be worried going in without Kyle Lowry?
He'll be back game 2, game 1. No need to worry. This is going to be a 6 or 7 game series. We're not dealing with the Nets, and we're not dealing with that trash Philadelphia 76ers. The Raptors are defending champions. Let me say that slow for the people who can't seem to understand that or comprehend that. The Raptors are the defending champions. And everybody thought they were going to fall off a cliff after Cyborg left. Wrong. The Raptors play well. They're the best defensive team in the league. They hold you down. They hit threes. They can beat you from outside. They can beat you from inside. They got the big man. They got skill players. And with or without Kyle Lowry, they're going to be just fine. Now, somebody said it's going to be season. The gentleman's sweep means Toronto's only win 1. Whatever, bro. This is going to go 6, maybe 7. And for that smoke, they played in the regular season, and it was a 2-2 split. So let's not pretend that the Raptors can't handle this Boston Celtics squad. Now, I admit, Boston looks good, and they played better without Gordon Hayward. But you know what? No Gordon Hayward, no Kyle Lowry. Who got Spicy P? I know you're going to say who got Jason Tatum. This is going to be an excellent series. I'm just glad that we finally got a series, because the Magic are going home after tomorrow. The Pacers are packing their bags and leaving Epcot Center now. Yep. And as far as I'm concerned, Milwaukee is the only real issue here. I don't think Miami can stack up against Milwaukee, because they have nobody for Giannis. And now that the Magic have woken up, Mr. Middleton, I see a lot of jumpers in the lane and around the 23-foot mark. I see that series going maybe 5, so Milwaukee can get ready for the winner of the Boston-Toronto series.
Excellent. I love every point that you made, Alex. So let's talk about the first sweep in the East. The 76ers fell to the Boston Celtics. I got to know. And Ben Simmons had taken to Twitter and said how painful it was to see his team get swept. Alex, I got to know, do we continue to trust the process?
Hell to the no. To the no. This process was a joke. Brett Brown's been there for 7 years. How many titles? Wait, how many NBA finals? Wait, how many Eastern Conference finals? Wait, the best they did was the second round against Toronto, Game 7, and Kawhi broke their heart. Okay, fine. Mess up number 1, you didn't keep Jimmy Buckets. Why the hell would you not keep Jimmy Butler, which was a general on your team, and your defensive prowess on the team, knowing damn well Ben Simmons can't hit an outside shot? Number 2, JJ Redick. Yes, he's a liability on defense, but you know what? You need scores. And that's what he could do on a religious basis. This is actually the first year in a very, very, very long time that he didn't make the playoffs, but he's in New Orleans. So what do? You give 4 players max contracts of over $100 million. You're really paying Tobias Harris $35 million a year to average 13 points? What? Al Horford doesn't look the same. Ever since he left ATL-Boston, he's been a figment of himself. Oh, and then you got Joel Embiid, who's all types of sensitive. I love Embiid's game, but he is not a Batman. He's a Nightwing. I'm not going to say he's a Robin, He's not a Batman. Oh, and Ben Simmons. Where do I begin? You're 6'10" and you can't hit a jumper. You move to the power forward spot, start banging down low, and all of a sudden you get hurt. You're the best defensive prowess since Jimmy Butler left, and now all of a sudden when you're not there, the team forgets how to play defense? And let me finish this off with Brett Brown. What a joke. I hope you get your stimulus check early because your coaching, if you want to call it that, has been disgusting. Matchup issues, bad calls. You should have got technical fouls for yelling at your players for not coming back on defense. Absolutely no constructive criticism I could give to Brett Brown because last year you mismanaged the Toronto series. You were the worst team on the road, best team at home, but now in the bubble, you can't beat regular teams. I remember when Damian Lillard lit you up 51 points, and all you did was just stand there looking like, we need to win the playoff series. If you were going to win the playoff series, you probably shouldn't have been matched up with Boston. You should have been concerned with winning games. I'm glad you got fired.
So we have a great question in the comments. We have a question from Rob. The real question to me is, which player do you keep, Embiid or Simmons? Jake, I'm going to take it to you. Who do we keep to continue to trust the process?
Well, if Joel Embiid is not Batman, he's not Robin, then he must be Nightwing. I don't know. I mean, at this point, I mean, look, you got to get rid of Ben. If you're going to get rid of somebody, you have to get rid of Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons does not have a three-point game. The only thing that he has is a post game. He can conquer in the low post. He can conquer in the high post. He can hit those shots from the top of the key, but that's about it. He can't hit a three-point shot. And then not to mention, I know that we're going to blame Brent Brown for this, and that's understandable. Only 221 wins. He was able to be that coach that was able to rise that team out of the muck that it was for a while. But Elton Brand is now on the clock. You let J.J. Redick go. You sign Al Horford. You sign Tobias Harris. I mean, are you kidding me with this? These are going to be big-time bust signings if this continues on with the Sixers. And it could be a long time before the Sixers become what they should have become. And we go all the way back to Sam Hinkie with a stupid trust the process. How did they trust the process getting Nerlens Noel? How did they trust the process getting Markelle Fultz? Answer me that. By the way, both those players are not even a Sixer anymore. So what process are we supposed to trust here? I got to know, because the Sixers right now, you're in a Twilight Zone episode. And I don't know when Rod Serling is going to introduce it or Jordan Peele, but I tell you this right now, the episode is not even ready to premiere yet until you figure out a plot for the next year.
All right, you heard it, Brett Brown. You know what you got to do to continue to trust the process. We'll leave that discussion there, gentlemen, and move on to the Dallas Mavericks and the LA Clippers. Luka badass Doncic put away the Clippers to tie the series 2-2 with a big Dame time shot in overtime. Alex, I got to know your opinion. Should the Clippers be worried?
No. And here's why. It took a Herculean effort from Luka Doncic for them to win that game in overtime. Now, look, love, mad respect, and props to Luka Doncic. I tried to let people know on the Mark Moses show a year and a half ago that Luka is the truth. He said he wanted Trae Young. I was like, hell no, Luka. I wanted Luka. To hell with Mo Bamba, to hell with Trae Young, I wanted Luka. Because every now and then, you can just tell. You know, you ever seen Barry Gordon's The Last Dragon? Yeah, Luka had the glow. You can tell. Luka was special. When I got to interview Luka Doncic against the Dallas Mavericks, I'm lying. When I got to interview Luka Doncic against the Orlando Magic, I asked him how it felt to be the face of the NBA. And he was like, I'm not the face of the NBA. It's my teammates. Well, now look what he's done in the bubble. You had a small inkling of Devin Booker. Then you had TJ Warren. Then you had Damian Lillard. But all throughout, you had Luka. And anybody who could score a 43-point triple-double with 17 rebounds and 13 assists against the best defensive team in the NBA? Much love. Oh, and one last thing. I don't appreciate what Montrezl Harrell did a couple of games ago, calling him a bitch-ass white boy, because that's the whole reason why we're doing the whole Black Lives Matter, so that way we can have equality. I think he silenced any of that non-funky music with that deep Rucker Park type three he hit in overtime. Luka is the truth. Better yet, he's clear. He's the new version of Larry Bird with better stats and numbers than LeBron James at the age of 21. Show some respect.
Yeah, show some respect. 43 points, 17 boards, and 13 assists on a bum ankle. Jake, I gotta know, was it even a factor that the unicorn was not on the court?
I did not expect this performance last night when Kristaps Porzingis was called out for the game, and they need Kristaps Porzingis. They have to be a healthy Mavericks squad to get at least to try and pull off the upset over the LA Clippers. They're just too loaded with this. I mean, let's give credit where credit is due. It was a phenomenal basketball game. You're talking about a team that was down 55-33 in the second quarter, and then they came roaring back out of nowhere and even had the Clippers on the hook there until it went to overtime, tied at 121. I mean, you talk about the numbers, 18 for 31, 43 points, a triple-double. He had 19 triple-doubles in his career before that night. But the big question right now for the Clippers, look, you had Kawhi Leonard last night, 32 points. You also had good old sweet Lou Williams, 36 points. And I'm not going to sing, I promise. But 36 points off that bench, incredible. But my question is, where in the daylights is Paul George? Once again, can you show up for a playoff series when it actually truly matters, when you have Kawhi Leonard and Lou Williams going off? Instead, you're getting 9 points. In game 3, you shot less than 20% shooting, and you had 11 points. 3 for 14? Are you kidding me? 1 for 7 from the three-point line? Where is the Paul George that continues to run his mouth and says that he is a playoff P? That's the nickname he gave himself. How about you being known as the pandemic P right now until you figure out a cure to become the playoff P? Because I would like to actually see that for once in my time. And I want to see Paul George step up in the playoffs when it is tough. Come on, Paul. You help out. You would have won last night.
No, absolutely. I agree. It is a definite factor that PG needs to step up his game to face the Mavericks, especially if Kristaps Porzingis is rejoined with his Dallas Mavericks. All right, gentlemen, I got to know, what is your take on this score of the Trailblazers and Lakers game? The Lakers are up 80-51 at the half. I got to know, gentlemen, is it over for the Blazers?
It was over as soon as they got the game 1 victory, because if we know something about LeBron James compared to Paul George, LeBron James is rated R. That's why Paul George is PG-13. He is restricted for audiences under the age of 17 because LeBron James steps up his game. Anthony Davis steps up his game. And not to mention, Frank Vogel has done an incredible job that nobody is talking about. They have shut down this Blazers offense. Keep in mind, they won 100-93. They were the highest scoring offense in the bubble. And the Lakers have kept them down, and they continue to keep them down. They're actually the best defense in the bubble right now, stepping up their game every single time. What a job by LeBron and Anthony Davis and Alex Caruso. But let's be honest, Frank Vogel is one of the true reasons that this Lakers team has become this defensive force without Avery Bradley. Are you kidding me? What a job so far. And I'm not surprised by the Blazers. You need more than just McCollum, Carmelo Anthony, and Lillard and Nurkic. You need bench help. You need more than just Gary Trent Jr. And it's starting to show, unfortunately, for Portland again. They were a nice story, but just like every year, they're going to be out the door again.
No, I understand. And depth is definitely important during the playoffs, especially when it comes to being able to rest your starters as much as possible. And the Blazers got another dagger to the heart with Zach Collins out for the rest of the season, needing surgery as well. So I'm hoping that you could turn things around, because like Rob said in the comments, it is over. But to be honest, one dude who scares me no matter the score is Damian Lillard. So I definitely feel him on that. Gentlemen, let's move on to the Denver Nuggets and the Utah Jazz. Donovan Mitchell has put the Utah Jazz above the Nuggets 3-1 in this series. Now, the Nuggets were heavily favored with Mike Malone and the Joker and the weapons that they have. Alex, I got to know your opinion. Are the Nuggets going to make a comeback?
No, Nuggets aren't making a comeback. They may win the next game because the first game was contentious. The second game was a Utah blowout. The third game was contentious. The fourth game was a Utah blowout. First game, they didn't have Mike Conley. He went to see the birth of his child, and Utah took them to the limit. Donovan Mitchell is on another level. Now, I was on Chris Pirtle's show this morning, and he mentioned that he had a 22-point quarter, not a game, a 22-point quarter. He's already done that twice in this bubble. He had 57 points game one and barely lost. He had 51 the other night. If it wasn't for Jamal Murray, we wouldn't even be talking about the Nuggets because Donovan's been on another level. Oh, and by the way, Donovan has help. Ingles, Mitchell, Gobert, Clarkson coming off the bench. When you got six cats scoring double figures against the Denver Nuggets, who for some odd reason is struggling from the three-point line and is struggling rebounding the ball, I mean, what can you do? I had the Nuggets winning this series. I'm proud to admit I was so wrong.
I was dead wrong too. Give a lot of credit to
Everybody won.
Quinn Snyder has Donovan Mitchell playing on an all-new level. What a way. I mean, I can't believe the Nuggets won game one, and Donovan Mitchell had 57 points. And now he comes off a 51-point performance, and I think that was probably the best performance that the Nuggets were going to give you now. They might win one more game, but right now the Jazz have this. Rudy Gobert has been fantastic inside the post, been shutting it down. You have to understand right now the way Donovan Mitchell is playing. If they can't stop him, if they can't get away from the three-point line or top of the key or anything like that, forget about it. I like the Nuggets, but just like the Blazers, they're just another good story. And I will say this, though. I am so happy to have Karnisovas now with the Chicago Bulls because now I can't wait to see what the future of the Bulls and the Nuggets happen here. But with the Nuggets, it just feels like they are 1 to 2 players just missing in action. And also, I got a question. Did anybody put out a milk carton on where in the daylights was Monte Morris? I got to know because Monte Morris stepped up in game one. He was there in game two. And then yesterday, he was nowhere to be seen.
Right. Well,
you're rude, Jake.
I am rude. Sorry.
But no, Jake isn't rude. Jake is real. And that's why we have him on this show to bring the realness because Ruth the Truth and Alex Fleming need Jake by our sides to make this happen. All right. Thank you so much for our viewers that are tuning in. We are going to go to a short break. All right, so we have Alex Fleming from Turf Talk on Saturday mornings and Jake Longhalt from Turning Point Podcast telling both sides of the story. Thank you for joining me, gentlemen. Let's talk some NFL. So Roger Goodell was interviewed by an ex-NFL player discussing the anthem. I got to know, Alex, do you feel like his speech was an apology towards Colin Kaepernick?
No, because it's 5 years too late. All right, let's try not to get political. Let's just state facts. Colin Kaepernick tried to bring attention to Americans, conservatives, and liberals alike what the hell was going on in the streets to people who don't have money like NFL or NBA players. Just today, there was a gentleman who was shot in Kenosha, Wisconsin, with his 3 kids in the car. Now, he wasn't tased. He wasn't assaulted. He wasn't beat down with billy clubs. He was shot 7 times. The man was unarmed. But yet somebody's going to say that the cops feared for his life. Do I need to bring up Aaron Garner, who was killed for selling loose cigarettes? Trayvon Martin, just down the street from where I'm at right now, being followed by a person who wasn't a cop, but yet he was giving the business to the guy that was following him, but yet he was shot dead. And then the dude who did it had the audacity to sue the family. Okay, better yet, Ahmaud Arbery. The only reason we even know about that is because they released the footage, trying to think that it was going to make them innocent. See, nobody was going to press charges, but the video shows what happened. Oh, and then Breonna Taylor, who was at home minding her own damn business, who was shot dead at home minding her own damn business, while the person who did the crime was arrested 30 minutes earlier. This is reality for Black America. You wonder why we say F the police and we don't trust the system? The system doesn't work for us. If I do a crime and Jake does a crime, how much you want to bet I'm going to have a bigger sentence than him? It's not a bet. Donovan Mitchell said, this is why we don't feel safe. LeBron James quoted and said, now you wonder why we feel the way we feel towards the police. George Hill, whose nephew was shot and killed in gang activity because there was no cops around to actually help, said, this is the main point that we're trying to bring to you. Those cops had it out for him. They weren't trying to be peaceful. They wanted to kill him. There was a gentleman who was shot dead for having a busted tail light, ran off the road. And if it wasn't for witnesses who saw the accident, people weren't going to get justice because people who look like me don't get justice. Yet they'll scream and holler about a 5-year-old kid who was shot in front of his family and his culprit was caught hours later. There's not a comparison. There's not a difference. And please don't let a 5-year-old kid be your motivation to try to kill this whole Black Lives Matters movement. It's not a fair game we're playing, and it hasn't been a fair game. Yes, the Brown versus Board of Education was in the 50s and 60s. We're still fighting for equal rights today.
Jake Ronhall, I got to know your opinion. Roger Goodell, during this interview, what did you take from it? What is your reaction?
Well, first off, I just want to say thanks to Alex Fleming because I believe that my job is to sit and listen and understand what in the world is happening in this country, especially with what happened this morning. But we'll get into that in a minute. Listen, I give a lot of I'm really happy about Emmanuel Acho for at least having the guts to bring Roger Goodell on and at least having a good conversation. I mean, we found out that, his father, Charles Goodell, he walked with Coretta Scott King and George McGovern. They marched during the anti-war protests for the Vietnam War. But there was a couple of times where I sat there and went, look, just be honest with what you're trying to say. You're letting players take a knee. You're letting them do it during the national anthem. You're letting them have a social justice platform. And I get it. You donated $89 million. Now you're coming up with a $250 million one now at the Players Coalition. But when I hear the words regarding Kaepernick saying, quote, I wish we listened earlier, and that's all you could say about it. I mean, you didn't give an apology. You didn't say that he could come back. And then so it just kind of felt like there was one side that was good, and then the other side, it just kind of felt like it was tone deaf. But at least he tried, Emmanuel Acho. But I think this is about as good as it's going to get with Roger Goodell going forward. An important lesson he did say, though, and I do give credit to this, he did say that what the protest is happening, not unpatriotic, not against the military. As I said, I served for peaceful protest, for that freedom of right. That's how I look at that. It's not about the flag. And I will continue to say that it is not about the flag. My eyes are open, my ears are listening, and that is all I'm going to be able to do going forward.
May I?
Yeah, go ahead.
One last thing, because, I like to stir the pot when it comes to ignorance. I serve soup. 2009 was the year that the NFL and the Army, Air Force, Navy, basically the armed services got together to have this fake patriotism, which is by definition fascism. Because before that, yes, the national anthem was played, but no one was required to be on the sidelines with their hand over the heart showing patriotism. Why in the hell would I show patriotism to a flag that in the third verse says that if I run away, you have the right to kill me because I'll always be under you as a slave. B, those same rights that you give to liberties to people who don't look like me aren't granted to people who look like me. If I do a crime and Jake does a crime, I guarantee you I'm not going to have State Farm saving my ass. And C, First Amendment rights. Under the First Amendment, you have the right to peacefully protest. Yes, for some odd reason, when you make millions of dollars, you don't have the right to protest anymore? We're civilians first, athletes second. Athlete is a profession. And blue lives don't matter because nobody is born blue. You choose to be a cop. You don't choose to be black.
I'll say another thing too to this, and I want this narrative to go away. Okay, ratings are not going to go down with the NFL. If they believe that they're going to stand behind the Black Lives Matter movement, that is their right. If that's what they believe, if that's what they want their employers to do, let them do it. That's why they came out with these social just platforms. That's why he talked to Kenny Stills, Eric Reed, and Malcolm Jenkins. Malcolm Jenkins is the one that sets the bar high for everybody in the NFL that wants a social justice platform. Well, so when you got JJ Watt out there talking as well, the ratings are not going to go down. The only reason people say that is because, and I said this to our producer this morning, I said that there are people out there that just refuse to change, refuse to listen. And while people are building up their empires and doing great things and making change happen, they're going to be stuck in their narrow-mindedness. And all we can do is that.
Right. No, it's a lot of craziness going on. And this incident that happened, Jacob Blake was only 150 miles away from where Green Bay plays at their stadium. So it wasn't a surprise that Aaron Rodgers spoke up and he stated, there's a systematic problem. Until the problem is fixed, this is going to be an all common sigh to the country. So I'm going to bring in Eric Wilson to discuss this issue. Eric, I got to know, what is your take on things? Where's your head at?
First off, let me just say this. I said it to start the show that I do not condone any type of negativity thrown to anybody on this show. I respect and love each and every one of you, along with our boy Michael Caratenuto and anybody who ever jumps on this show with me, because this was an idea that has springboarded into where it is today. And again, I thank the three of you for speaking your mind. And as I always say, be yourself. This is one of those instances with me where I have to be careful with what I say and how I say things. That's why I'm very appreciative to have my brother Alex, because Alex is my Bernie Mac, if you will. Alex says it like a T.I. is. He ain't scared of nobody. And he has invoked in me emotions that have given me cause to sometimes say, okay, it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to say what you want to say. You can't always be so concerned with what the narrative is. That being said, I can honestly say I'm tired. I'm tired of continually having to turn on the news to see on social media that Black men and women are being killed for no other reason than the color of their skin. And it's annoying. One of the gentlemen that I speak about every time I do this show, and you guys know this, is Elijah McClain. It has been exactly 1 year today since Elijah McClain died, and there has been no justice for him. And I posted his picture on my Facebook page, and I made his picture my profile picture because I was really curious to see if anybody would look at that picture and say, wait a minute, that's not Eric. But when you really look at that young man, that was me. I looked like that. I still look like that. The only difference is I'm older. So it hurts me to know that Black people can just be tossed aside for simply being a different color. I don't know where else to go with this, Ruth, except to say this, and Alex and Jake. We have got to start holding individuals accountable. I don't give a damn what your profession is. I don't care where you came from. If you commit a crime, if you murder someone, if you hurt a child, you need to be held accountable. And that's where I'm at. I pray for the family in Wisconsin that has lost someone, because we've all lost people, whether we've lost them to a disease or we've lost them to just natural causes. That's one thing. But when we lose them to blatant just murder, we kill someone because we don't like them. without knowing the individual. I'm tired of it. And it hurts my heart as a person. Because as y'all know, I live by a very simple creed, and I'll finish up with this. Everybody who knows me understands this. I live by one simple creed. And I can't say how I want to say it, but I'm going to say it how I know I can say it. Don't mess with me. I won't mess with you. That's how we do business.
Hey, E, straight up, you already know where I'm coming from. I'm waiting for the smoke because somebody's going to need jaw surgery. I'm waiting for the smoke. Other than that, I'm going to keep doing my thing. I'm just a humble teddy bear that will knock all your teeth out.
Oh, man.
I'm just a man that listens.
Thank you so much for coming in and letting us know how you feel. Jake, would you like to comment?
Yes.
Just to the family of Jacob Blake, be safe, be out there. I'm sorry that this happened. I saw the video. I was sick to my stomach, and I talked to a very good friend of mine earlier this morning, and the first things that came out of his mouth was, "Again." That's all I needed to hear, and it really just it saddens me that this continues on. We're in a pandemic right now, economic ruin. And we're just trying to get through just a day where we can, like everybody keeps saying, oh, just smile, we'll be okay. There's light at the end of the tunnel. It doesn't feel like when there's light at the end of the tunnel when you see a video like we saw with Jacob Blake. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. He was there for one reason. He was trying to break up a fight between two women, and he did. And when he tried to go back to his car, he got pulled by his back and shot 7 times. I'm just sitting here going, what in the world what is happening here? And
I think they're trying to make America great again.
I'm not going to get too much into politics on this here. I mean, we talk about this privately, and I understand that. But the one thing that just really got to me the most, social media is such a two-way street. And I hate it when I have to go down a dead end and I have to watch people justify attempted murder and a criminal record to try and prove that what the police did were right. They were not right on this, and that's why they're on leave. That's why the Democratic governor right now, Ron Evers, has started up an investigation, and we'll see what happens. But until then, just know, got your back, and I'm always going to just do the best thing I can do as a person is shut my trap and listen and research and educate. And I don't care who comes at me. I don't care who tries to get down my throat on this. Try me. Just try me, because I'm educating every single day. And when I do the Sports Arena with Alex Fleming, with Eric Wilson, with Ruth the Truth, with Michael Caratanudo, there's a reason why I do it. I do it because I love these people. And when I see something like I saw in Kenosha, Wisconsin, it's just a reminder of how blessed I am to know people like you, because I see it from a different platform, a different side, and that's what I need to be doing.
Yes, Alex and Eric, thank you so much for bringing.
What do you mean by these people? I'm messing with you, Jake. I'm messing with you. All right,
I had a very
this is off the rails, guys.
I know all about what you just tried to do. Thank you, Trump.
you got Jake nervous over there. No, but definitely not a laughing situation. It is so disheartening to know that every day that we see something new, and there's a lot of these instances that are not recorded, that are not shared on social media, that are not in the headlines as much as some of these instances are that are caught on camera. And we just have to do our part in keeping ourselves aware of what's going on, making sure you're spreading the right information, and just being there to listen to those who need to talk. And Alex and Eric, I'm always here for you guys whenever you guys need to talk. But this is going to do it for us for the Sports Arena. Thank you so much again, Alex Fleming from Turf Talk Saturday mornings, and Jake Rongholt from Turning Point Podcast. And this is Ruth the Truth. Follow me on Twitter. Thank you so much for joining me, gentlemen, and enjoy the rest of your night.